How's it going, everybody? Welcome to today's video. So something I wanted to discuss is a question I often get, and that is, how do I know if the information that I am seeing is actually legitimate? Now, there's a lot of information out there. We live in a day and age where the information that we have access to, we have access with our fingertips, right? We can look pretty much almost anything up. But even with that, there's a lot of things to go through. So I'm just going to give a few different pointers of things that I tend to look out for and things that I tend to pay attention to if I'm listening to somebody, or if I'm watching a video, or if I'm listening to a podcast, so on and so forth. The very first thing, and I probably actually say this is the most important thing, is someone who speaks in absolutes and like they have the only answer, and that their answer is going to get you the results, and there's no other way to do it. Everybody's heard the saying, there's more than one way to skin a cat, because there is. There's more than one way to lose weight. There's more than one way to gain muscle. There's more than one way to improve your health. There's more than one way to get stronger. There's a lot of different things that people can do. Now, if someone has a perspective of everything that you're seeing is completely garbage and you should follow exactly what I say, the problem with that is individualism kind of goes out the door. Now, granted, research is really, really good at getting a general view of things, and I think it's really, really fantastic. However, that doesn't mean that it applies to every single person, because every individual is going to be different. There's a lot of genomic differences. There's going to be a lot of lifestyle differences. There's going to be a lot of differences in how that person carries themselves, region, so on and so forth. There's too many different factors to consider. So if someone tends to speak in absolutism, I would be extremely skeptical of that person. Be skeptical. Don't deny. There's useful information in pretty much everything, even bad information. Over the years that I've been training and over the years I've been exercising, which has been about 15 years now, I've listened to a great deal of people. And every conversation I've had has been a great conversation because there's something that I learned from that conversation. Either it be good or bad. But it's up to you to take the opportunity to try it or to not try it and see if it works for you. But that's an individual thing. The second thing is going to be, is that person trying to sell you something? So anybody who tends to be a salesman, I also oftentimes tend to be very, very skeptical of. It's not that it's necessarily a bad thing. People have to make their living. People have products that they believe are going to be really good for people, that it's going to help people. And in some cases, I believe that's actually the case. And I believe that some products are really, really good. However, someone who's a hard ass salesman should probably be a little bit extra skeptical of, because they're going to twist information or twist what's being said in order to further facilitate that their product is a lot better than other products, or you can't get the results that you want without their product. I feel like that's a problem that oftentimes leads to people falling into these camps where they get kind of sucked into something because they're told something, because of the lack of information that they have or lack of knowledge. What you don't know is what you don't know, and that's okay. However, do not be afraid to do your own research and to look into things yourself and to try things out, because what might work for the general may not work for you. There is always individualism. The third thing, people who overcomplicate stuff. Honestly, health and fitness is extremely simple. There's a few different pillars: exercise, sleep, proper eating and proper nutrition, basically cutting out junk food, getting some sunlight, getting some walking in, getting some activity in. Those things, if most people follow those to the most basic extent, their health will improve. However, overcomplicating things is oftentimes confusing to the average person because either one, they don't have the time to do the research themselves. For two, they may not know enough. So what they hear or what they take from somebody tends to be gospel, or in a way, or law, if you will. And so understand that how you are as an individual is going to vary depending on other people. You can have 100 people have completely different results doing the exact same thing. That's an overstatement, but I'm just trying to give some context for an example. So when getting into health and getting into fitness and you're trying to figure out, how do I know what is good and what is not? Experiment a little bit. Don't be afraid to experiment. Try some things out for a few weeks, see if it works. If it doesn't, move on to the next thing. The second thing is be skeptical. Question things. Do not take everything as law. There's a lot of variance and there's a lot of factors that are going to change or determine the outcome of certain things. And the last thing is do your own research. You don't need to do a ton, but just do some. Look into things. Look at different opinions. Specifically, look at opposing opinions as well, because that's going to give you that other side. And oftentimes, in most situations, the answer is somewhere in the middle. So just be mindful, be thoughtful, and be careful with your approach when you're listening to people. Don't be afraid to look at opposing opinions. That is how we grow. If you're in an echo chamber, you're not going to actually learn. It's good to be, first of all, a little uncomfortable, but for two, to see the other side. It's extremely important, especially when it comes to health and fitness. But that's just my take on it. Hope everybody has a good day. Have a good one.